Welcome back to the Dirt Life podcast. Today I have a very special guest, Aon Bowzer. She's a legend. She works for Carter Machinery. She's actually a sales system manager. She's worked there 10 years, and they were the best cat dealer in all of USA. Let's get into it. Yeah, so thanks for coming on. You work at Carter Machinery. I would love to know what you do there exactly.
So my title is, well, first, thank you for having me. And I do watch a lot of your podcasts and follow you on all your social media, and really enjoy your content. So I was excited for the offer to be on here. Um, so my official title is Sales Systems Supervisor. We have a sales systems team. Um, a lot of what we do is truly enablement for our sales team. We have a centralized quoting team that is beneath me. So they do all of the quoting for the equipment for our outside sales team. So we also manage all of the sales systems specifically around the CRM, and then the quoting tools as well. But everything mostly related to enablement. How do we keep them selling and keep them doing what they do best? And that's forming those relationships with the customers. So they're out there selling, we're enabling them behind the scenes, keep them being the expert of the equipment, those relationships, and enabling them to also enable their customer.
Gotcha. I assume you like to work for Carter?
I do. I've been here for 10 years. 9 out of the 10 years in sales. I did have a year in our service contract side of the business and realized sales was definitely my area of expertise. They say you have to be crazy to be in sales, so it's fitting. I excel in sales. I like the I wouldn't call it chaos, but sometimes it feels like chaos. But I love watching what our sales team does, enabling them to go out there and challenge our customers. And when I say challenge, I mean in a good way. Customer isn't always right. And we have a sales team that goes out there and does that, and not saying that in a negative way, but they are the expert of the product, and the customer is the expert of what they want to do every day. So a customer coming to our rep, our machine sales team, and telling them, this is what I need to do. This is what I think I need. But our sales team saying, well, actually, this is what you need.
I think I find that very unique. I've dealt with a lot of other dealerships and other brands. Like typically, you deal with the salesman who doesn't know anything about construction or even the machine. So, like, I'm a huge fan of people working as salesmen that actually know what they're talking about, know the
Mm-hmm.
product, maybe have even used the machines in the field themselves, so they truly understand. That's huge. Like if I'm buying something, I would want someone or to deal with someone that knows exactly what I'm needing and why I'm needing it. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, you're right. The customer, they know what they need to get done or what they need to make money, but like they don't know maybe the best tool for
Right.
that, right? So very unique. Carter is actually quite huge. You guys are all over multiple states along the East
Yes.
Coast, right? You're in Virginia?
Yes, I'm in Virginia. So we are the dealer for Virginia. We also cover areas of West Virginia, Maryland, and then also Delaware. So we do have a big geographic footprint, which I mean has our product varies across the geographic footprint. So just dependent on region and customer, you could see the same model machine, but configured differently just based on the equipment.
So you're the largest dealer of cat in the US or just on the East?
I would say probably just in the East, but if we are not the largest dealer in the US, we are definitely a competitor with the one.
Seeing you're in sales,
Mhm.
do you find any sales coming through social media at all?
I would say that sales, I mean, definitely could be, or social media could definitely be a source. of where a sale may start. I mean, social media is free advertising for anybody. So there's definitely social media marketing campaigns. I mean, even just pictures, but there's certainly, I guarantee some of our sales are generated from social media postings.
You just can't track it.
Yes, that's way more of a marketing piece of where or how they track our leads and where our business is sourced from. In the scheme of things, social media is free advertising and a lot of where the young generation gets their news and information on things. So I think I've talked myself into thinking that social media is a huge source of generating sales.
What's your favorite machine and why?
My favorite machine.
Have you ever ran one?
I have been in these smaller machines, so just some skid steers and compact track loaders. I actually have not been in a bigger machine.
Why not?
I stay in my bubble sometimes, probably too much, but I definitely need to get outside more and be more engaged with the equipment. My role specifically, I feel is so fast paced and in high demand that it is often that I don't get outside during the day. So, but that's some of that's self inflicted on me. I'm very focused on what the sales team needs and making sure that they have resources internally to complete their deal, to make their sale happen. But as far as my favorite piece of equipment, I guess let's say the 299 right now, because my dad actually owned one of those, so I would operate it on his farm. But yeah, I definitely need to get on a bigger piece of equipment. Looks wise, I would say a D6 though.
It's a common thing for people that work at a dealer to, I mean, they don't really get in machines very often. I think they should. I think it connects you a lot better to what you're selling. And like, I mean, it's exciting. And some people have worked at a place and have actually never been in what they're selling. So I challenge you to sometime before the end of the year, get in a machine and put it on social media.
Oh, I absolutely will. I do get the opportunity to definitely go outside and see and even go to trainings at some of the cat factories. So that definitely motivates you more. And it does really put the pieces together of what I'm dealing with every day, what I'm touching every day, and help making that sale.
You said some training there. Let's talk about training a little bit. I assume you guys provide training at Carter. Let's talk about that. What type of training and why?
There is product training, I'll say, for our sales team. There's also product training for our customers. My team specifically, we do our product is actually our system. So my team does a lot of training on systems specifically for that are internal systems. But Carter does offer customer product training, and our sales team often goes to product training, not only internally, but externally, meaning Caterpillar training at their factories. They go to Tucson a lot, Clayton, North Carolina, but they receive a lot of training. There's also various, probably more than I know, courses online that we have within a tool called Carter University.
Explain that a little bit.
So Carter University is a tool that we have, again, obviously an internal tool for various courses that could be for our outside sales team. They could be specific to product. They also could be for internal training. You could find Excel spreadsheet training. I mean, it is across the board. It could be safety trainings. Trainings that have to be done or completed for HR purposes, but just a various amount of training specific to our dealership that we put into one platform for the team.
I'll be honest, so far I'm super impressed with Carter because it seems like they really give the resources and tools to help their salesmen actually be the best salesman there is. Like I mentioned before, like no one wants to buy a machine from someone who doesn't know anything about it.
I feel like, I'll be honest, our sales team impresses me every day. I feel like they could sell ice to an Eskimo. You could tell some of our salesmen, we've got 336s on the ground. We need them sold by the end of the month. And we have salesmen that can do that. that can pick up the phone and call customers and have that done. We definitely try to provide those resources to the sales team, again, to keep them selling. That's what they do best. They are the face of Carter every day. A huge part of a relationship is trust. So basically, them being the face of Carter and having to build that trust with the customer, it's not the customer just trusting that salesman. He has to maintain the trust for the entire company. So providing them those resources to keep them out in the field and keep them knowledgeable, that is ultimately the goal. I mean, I think you're forever trying to keep up with changes and keeping them informed and knowledgeable. It's not easy. I mean, business changes, times change, things that impact business every day. I mean, you never know if there's going to be supply chain issues, but just keeping them informed, enabled, giving them tools that are easily accessed so that they don't have to stop and open a laptop and connect to a VPN. That's really important now. Like they need to be mobile. They need to have access to things mobilely. So it is a huge piece of what I do and something I'm really passionate about is enabling them, because without them, I probably wouldn't have a job. So I'm thankful for them and want to keep them selling.
I find that there's some shitty cat dealers in the US. I'm not trying to call no one out. I'm being honest about what it is, right? So like some I find don't provide good service and they maybe rely too much on the cat product because they know it's good and it kind of sells itself, right? So
Right.
I mean, another reason why I like Carter so much is just because you guys are probably the best cat dealer in my opinion.
Well, I'm biased, so I would agree with that, but
what construction trends are you seeing, whether like it's at work or you're online too on social media, so like what are you seeing out there?
something that is becoming bigger and bigger with construction, I would say, is technology. Technology is increasing constantly, changing constantly, getting better constantly on this equipment, trying to keep customers up and running, more than not. They don't want downtime. So giving them the tools to monitor that, even internally, trends with customers as far as, buying equipment, I would say service contracts are a huge deal for our customers and keeping their equipment maintenance. Not only, when a customer buys cat, they're paying a premium, but there's a reason for the premium. It's the service that they get after that sale. So I don't know if that's necessarily a trend with construction, but it's a trend with the equipment world. And, that I think that's what makes cat so good. And us being able to sell that premium is because we can offer more services, parts and services afterwards, helping the dealer stay up, performing their services for them. But again, the technology is definitely only getting better by the day. And it's definitely a trend, and customers are becoming more engaged and more interested than they ever have with the technology.
When it has to be right, you can trust Leica Technology to help you get the job done and grow your business with their cutting edge technology. Training employees is challenging and expensive, but Leica's simple to learn, simple to use products allow you to get your workforce up to speed much faster. Trust me when I say Leica Machine Control will help you move more dirt more efficiently. For more information on Leica Geosystem Solutions, please visit leica-geosystems.com. I'm a big fan of construction tech, obviously. The one thing that I like about the new tech is like Cat, for example, they're using all this new tech to essentially make the machines easier to run, which is, I find, helping the industry with a lack of experienced workers. Therefore, like, maybe you don't have to have as much experience to push this dirt or get this to grade or whatever, right? Or like safety stuff. There's geofencing and like all this different stuff Cat has put in their machines to actually help the contractor not only be more efficient but safer, and um, with a younger workforce that is less experienced, right? So I love tech in general, but that's kind of what I'm seeing in tech. So
I, yeah, I absolutely. I mean, I think, you mentioned safety, and safety is the highest priority, probably, not only every time that, our team goes outside to sell a piece of equipment, but, more so like our customers and making sure they're safe, and that technology helping with safety. I'm sure, as far as the options out there for employees that don't have enough experience. I mean, we're dealing with a generation that's coming in that is probably less knowledgeable of, going into an operator job, or less interested in going into an operator job than before, than a few years ago, several years ago. You have more of the younger generation wanting to, you know, build a YouTube account. And so the options out there for um, employment for these customers is probably limited. So they need the best technology. They also need the most safety.
I have a very important question for you. You have a son, right?
I do. I have two. Yeah,
Oh, you have two.
I do. Yes.
Okay, so this is a trend that I'm seeing in construction these days. As a parent with a young child, maybe you encourage them to go out in the sandbox with a Tonka toy or whatever, right? And
Mhm.
like that's encouraged. Somewhere along the line, most parents say, that's bad. Don't be an operator. Go to college. We want to push you in this direction. So, like,
Mhm.
it's confusing for a child who was like, oh, like you used to be happy when I was pushing sand. And like now I'm told that that is bad. As a
Mhm.
parent, what's your thoughts on that?
I would disagree with that. I'd have no problem with maybe my child, son or daughter, choosing a trade, or something more blue collar than going to college. I don't think going to college is the option for everybody. So if they are encouraged and motivated to do a job or career like that, I would fully support it. There's a need for it. We still have to build roads. We still have to build buildings. Um, it, yeah, and if that's what motivates them and makes them happy, then I would strongly encourage it. It shouldn't be discounted, the ones that are doing that type of work.
Let's talk a bit about your team. Who do you work with? Let's hear about the team.
Okay, so my team um, currently is we are tied to, again, our machine sales team, our outside machine sales team. But my team specifically consists of three, they're called quotation specialists. Um, they are in the office basically on standby um, for request of machine quotes. And that machine quote could come in and they need something start to finish, meaning customers ready to buy. I need you to find me this. I need you to get all these pieces together. Give the options of possible, warranty options, service contract options, no merchandising and financing offers. But something else they also do is we, again, enabling the sales team with as many tools as possible at that first initial touch point of the customer is trying to provide competitive information upfront. Whether the customer has a competitor on their yard or not, we're anticipating it, and we're trying to give our sales team that information upfront So they're prepared. They have all the tools in their hands at the time they go see the customer.
So you've so far worked there 10 years, you said. Are you excited to go to work every day? And if so, why? Like, why Carter? Why get up and do this every day?
I am excited to go to work every day. I do. Like I said, I love the excitement of working with the sales team. There's a lot of pride at Carter too, specifically. Um, I feel like even around.
Because you're the best cat dealer, right?
That's right. That's right. Absolutely. So, but yeah, I think, the sales team, they motivate me. They're actually my customer. So, our customer, my team's customer, that's how we look at it. We feel like we're very much a part of the deals, as they are. And, we're, we kind of share expertise. The salesman or saleswoman is knowledgeable of so much, and then we're knowledgeable of so much, and we collaborate to make that sale happen. But that's really what drives me every day is that excitement of making these sales happen, and just being able to enable them, and I would even say given the freedom to really strategize, like of how I want to or my team and I want to build out this what we want to do, build our own goals and strategies. So it's very much encouraged and supported to allow us to build out our own goals.
Okay, I have a very important question here.
Mm-hmm.
A quote of yours, okay? Don't be a lady, be a legend.
Yes, that's a good one. Yes.
Tell me about it.
Don't be, well, I shouldn't say that in front of my daughter, but I tell her to be a lady every day. I do work in a more male dominated industry. Of course, I want to, still present myself in a certain way, but I also want to have my voice, have our voice, other women's voice, encourage them that they can make a difference, and they can stand right there in line with men, and be just as strong.
I
But
agree.
know my strengths, and I know my limits. If it's something that is not my expertise or something I couldn't do, absolutely, like I can own that. But I think really not thinking of having to be more of a I don't want to say conservative, but it's the only word coming to my mind, but kind of being holding back and maybe not saying as much. That's not who I am. So so whoever watches this podcast is probably agreeing, or if they do watch it, they'll agree. I very much I like to have my point heard, but I will pick my battles, and I only stir pots that are meant to be stirred. But that's more so what I mean of don't be a lady, be a legend is yeah. I mean, know your strengths, and don't be feared. Don't have fear as a woman.
I love it. And I asked just to learn a little bit more about you, the
Mm-hmm.
person, not Aaron at Carter, right? So I love that. I've also been, I've been trying to promote women in construction for a long time. Although
Mm-hmm.
you're not in the field, yeah, you're in construction heavily.
Yeah.
Um, do you have any advice for maybe a woman wanting to get into a role like yours or in the construction space at a dealership or like something, right?
So I always say this was the best piece of advice I've ever gotten at Carter. And then when I tell people this, they're like, well, why was that the best piece of advice? But when I first started, someone had told me to learn how to blend in. And that is the best thing that you could do at any company. You just learn how to blend in. And it's like, well, that doesn't sound good. Like, I don't want to blend in. No, you fight for what you want, and fight for what you feel is right. And if you want upward movement, or it's just, just know that you can do it. And you find the support systems that can get you there. But yeah, I mean, just keep going.
Is there anything you would like to ask me?
How did you get into this role, or in
This
this
role.
this type of business? Yes.
Uh-huh.
Were
All right.
you in construction prior?
Yeah, so I worked in construction for like 20 years, multiple roles from survey to operator, multiple machines. My favorite, dozer, obviously, I think I spent the longest time doing that. That's kind of what I specialize in, was dozer, machine control, that type of stuff. And like heavy bulking, so big excavators and scrapers and that stuff. But yeah, so I worked construction for a long time. And I mean, I began on YouTube with the BlackBerry, filming myself in a D11 pushing
Mhm.
topsoil. And then it kind of evolved from that. I was like, well, I see a huge need for like mm, showing construction online, because I love construction. Why wouldn't someone else? So, like, if I like it,
Mhm.
I should actually show it. So I did. It evolved. And I was like, oh, I need to turn this into a company, because, like, at this time 14 years ago, no one was doing any of this. So
Right.
yeah, I built a company. I was a one-man show for a long time, and that evolved too. And my background, my dad was a photographer, so I guess I kind of picked that up. That's why I'm also super techie, big in computers and
Mhm.
pictures and all that stuff. So I kind of merged the two together. And then at some point it's like, well, I think I can make a business out of this. So I retired from construction full time as a foreman, operator, all that in 2018. And then kind of built a business around kind of what I'm doing now. So helping construction companies market, create content. I now have an office, full team of people that offer like a one-stop shop for anyone in construction, rebranding companies, creating content, anything you could ever want. We all do here, and most of us have backgrounds in construction. So, like,
Mhm.
it's a lot different than trying to hire a wedding photographer to go take
Yeah.
pictures on a construction site. Like, they're going to get run over, and this is like my comfort zone being on job sites, right? So
Yeah.
my experience helps with all that. So that's, hope that answers your question. So before the end of the year, you are going to go out in the yard, because you have a
Yeah.
giant one,
Yeah. We
and
do.
you're going to hop in a machine, let's say, even just drive it around.
Hmm. I'm pretty sure we were painting a 777 down the street purple, so maybe that's
Oh
like
yeah.
the ideal one for me to go take a ride in. But I can't even drive my car some days, so I don't know if that's good.
I mean, you don't have to go on a 777. You could
Oh
go
well,
on something a little bit smaller or whatever, but yeah, no,
true.
it's good to have a challenge.
Yeah, absolutely. That is definitely something that I do need to challenge myself with, is getting outside more, actually seeing the equipment.
What type of stuff do you like to see regarding equipment on social media?
I love like videos, as far as the people that are really out on these job sites every day, the operators. But yeah, I love like the aerial footages of job sites. I think you have several.
Yeah, no, I'm not asking for me. I'm just asking, what people like yourself like to see on social media, right? So,
Well, of course, I look at equipment more on social media than most women specifically, but I mean, it always catches my eye when I see yellow iron coming down my social media account. So, I mean, typically I'll stop and look at anything that appears to be cat. But yeah, I mean, I love seeing different um, actual job sites.
is there anything you want to talk about? Like, what's important to you?
I mean, I almost feel like I'll be a little redundant, but what's important to me at work is, support from, my colleagues and, my leaders, and um, support. And then the support I can provide, I take a lot of pride in my work, and the support I can provide to the sales team, who then is able to support the customers. I mean, I think that's what drives me at work and is important to me at work, because then it doesn't feel like work as much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not supposed to feel like work. Thanks very much for coming on. You gave a lot of insight on Carter, and what you do and how you do it, I guess. I love it. Thanks very much for coming on.
Well, thank you for having me.
I shall see you in a machine on social media.